The pain of losing one's parents is something that none of us should ever have to experience. But unfortunately, there are many people in the world who have been deprived of parental love not because their parents passed away, but because they were simply abandoned. Today we will look at a heartbreaking story about an abandoned baby who touched everyone's heart with his innocent act. We also see how he went from being an outcast to having a real family who loves and cares for him. So make sure to watch the video till the end. Also, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified when we upload new videos. Let's dive in. The day that Ethan was born, his parents immediately regretted it. They weren't prepared to have a baby and felt that raising him would be too much of a responsibility. The couple argued every day over whether they should keep the baby or give him up for adoption. Finally, the father suggested that they leave him on the doorstep of an orphanage and never look back. And that's exactly what they did. When the workers at the Happy Families orphanage received the baby, they named him Ethan. Sadly, due to the many children at the orphanage, he rarely received any attention. As a result, Ethan grew up feeling unloved and lonely. He had no one to tell him good night or to tuck him in the bed. Because of this, Ethan started wetting the bed every night and often went to sleep hungry. Despite all these hardships, he always remained a cheerful kid. When Ethan turned 6 years old, the staff decided to organize a charity event to find adoptive parents for the children at the orphanage. They took all the kids outside so that people could interact with them. The goal was to find families for at least 5 children that day. But unfortunately, the event ended without any results. All the kids were very upset, especially Ethan, who really wanted a family of his own. Ethan began to hate his life at the orphanage and dreamed of running away from there. One evening, after another fight between the employees over which child would go to which family, Ethan couldn't take it anymore. He packed some things into a backpack and quietly left the orphanage. Since he didn't know where his biological parents lived, he wandered around the city for several days until he met a police officer named Emma. Emma was patrolling the streets when she saw Ethan Rum's family under a bush. The little boy was wet and shivering. When the officer asked him what he was doing there, he replied that he was waiting for his parents to pick him up. Emma couldn't believe her ears. How could anyone abandon their kid like that? She immediately called the police station and asked them to check if there were any missing kids. It turned out that Ethan was the boy who had been missing from the Happy Families orphanage, so Emma took him back there. That night, Ethan couldn't fall asleep. The events of the past few days kept replaying in his head. He thought about how he would run away again, only this time to find his real parents. Early in the morning, when everyone at the orphanage was still asleep, Ethan quietly left his room and went outside. He wanted to find a policeman just like Emma to help him find his mom and dad. Meanwhile, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the boy from the orphanage. She decided that she couldn't just let him go back to that place. She went to the station and asked her boss if she could take Ethan home for the weekend. The chief was against it, but Emma insisted so much that he finally agreed. That's how Emma and Ethan spent their first day together. In the evening, the boy told the woman everything about his life at the orphanage, and she promised to help him find his parents. Together, they looked through the ads, and finally Emma found a phone number for the Happy Families orphanage. The woman called there and introduced herself. On the other end of the line, someone said that they knew nothing about Ethan's parents and hung up on her. Emma was very upset, but she didn't want to give up. She continued looking for the boy's parents on her own. After a few weeks, she finally managed to find them. Emma drove to their house and knocked on the door. To her surprise, it was the boy's father who opened it. He and his wife were shocked when they saw Ethan standing next to the officer. They tried to refuse to take the boy back, but Emma wasn't going to let them off that easily. She threatened to take the case to court and take Ethan away. Eventually, the couple had to agree. On the first day at his parents' house, Ethan behaved very strangely. He didn't say a word and only looked around the room. His parents were surprised by this and felt guilty for not taking care of him. After they fed Ethan and made sure he was comfortable, they tried to talk to him and ask him some questions. It turned out that the boy had serious psychological problems because of the lack of parental attention and care. Of course, they could send him back to the orphanage, but they decided that it would be better to keep him and raise him on their own. A year passed in the blink of an eye. Emma often visited Ethan and was happy to see that the boy was doing well. Now he could call his parents mom and dad and was a real member of society. One day, Emma came to the family's house to invite them to her friend's birthday party. But when she got there, she saw a very strange picture. Ethan was sitting on the porch in a police uniform. Next to him stood his dad in his police uniform, and his mother was hanging up her police cap. It turned out that both of Ethan's parents were now working at the same police station as Emma. The woman was very happy for them and was glad that they had found their calling. A few years later, Ethan graduated from the police academy and became a patrol officer. He worked alongside his mother and father, making the city safer. One day, while patrolling the streets, Ethan and his mother saw a group of children throwing stones at a stray dog. The officer approached them and asked why they were doing this. The kids replied that they were bored and had nothing else to do. Then Ethan knelt down next to the dog and asked if it had a name. The animal wagged its tail and licked the boy's hand. At that moment, he realized that he wanted to give the homeless dog a home just like he had been given one by Emma. Ethan took the dog to the vet and then to his house. His parents were very happy about the new family member and even helped the boy make a dog house in the backyard. Together, they came up with the name Rex for the dog. And although the four-legged friend couldn't replace the kid's long-lost family, Ethan was now confident that he was surrounded by people who love him and that he was able to love in return. Looking at the story of little Ethan, we can draw the conclusion that children who suffer from parental neglect need our special attention and care. These children have a hard enough life as it is, and we shouldn't make it even harder for them. Also, we should always remember that no matter how difficult our situation is, we shouldn't give up. There are so many examples like Ethan, as where people manage to overcome all the difficulties and live happily ever after. So don't lose hope. Be kinder and appreciate what you have. And now, dear friends, it's time to put your knowledge to the test. Answer the following questions. What was the name of the orphanage where Ethan spent most of his childhood? What was the name of the police officer who helped Ethan? What kind of animal did Ethan befriend? Leave your answers in the comments below. Also, please share this video with your friends and family. We wish you a wonderful day and look forward to seeing you in the next video.